Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rashmi Kumat. I lead the Digital Technology Center for Schlumberger, now known as SLB in Pune, India. I would want to thank the organizers for putting together a very wonderful event. It is not easy to gather a lot of subject matter expertise from different parts of the country and get them together here and share their thoughts and opinion. I'm not traditional oil and gas person. I did my computer science and engineering in 2002. That is what my background is, all computers and software. When I returned back to India for good in 2012, after spending almost 10 years in the US working for different companies, International Data Group, Microsoft, Pearson Education, the City of Boston government, everything which had nothing to do with oil and gas. I was a bit startled when I came back to India and I joined Halliburton. That was the first exposure I got to ONG, I would say. And then Schlumberger for the last 7 years, right? So without further ado, I'll probably share my thoughts, my learnings from the last 10 years and everything digital and what I think are going to be the levers for enabling digital transformation across the industry today. A lot of thoughts that I wanted to share are were already shared by Clay Harter, but if you didn't get it the first time, I'm going to have a repeat telecast of the same, so hopefully it lands. So we all have been hearing the statement, data is the new oil, especially in oil and gas, and we have been hearing that for almost a decade, I believe, right? What does that really mean? Does that mean that more data equals to more oil? Probably not. I think we have a reverse problem at hand. We actually are drowning in data. Due to the rapid pace and acceleration of digitization, especially due to COVID, and even prior to that, we have been in a situation where we have lots of data, but which is very fragmented, very siloed, inaccessible, definitely hard to use, right? So what are some of the data problems? If I look at even building or attempting to build enterprise data solution, I would probably come across at least these 4 challenges, right? What we essentially are talking about is the data really available? I know that we have tons of data, but can that be consumed anywhere, everywhere? If we have tremendous variety and enormous volumes of data, how's the quality of that data? Is that really accessible? Can I really plug and play and use that data anywhere in my applications? We have a lot of variety in the open standards, yet there is a lot of inconsistency in the definitions that are used across the E&P industry in the world. A lot of this data that's although available is not easily consumable, cannot be plugged or read by any apps. Thereby, you cannot be even using it in your workflows just right away to enable better business decisions or to gather actionable insights and so on, right? Before we even get there, right? Before we even get to the step of where we say, okay, hey, we want to make informed business decisions, or hey, we want to really derive actionable insights on which the business can really take actions on, there is classically another problem, right? A lot of this data, as also mentioned by Clay earlier, is in an unstructured format. What does that mean? 20% of the data that's available across the industry is available, which is very easy to consume, very easy to integrate, easy to read, understand, and so on. 80% of that data is available in an unstructured format, which means poorly scanned JPEG images, poorly scanned PDFs, handwritten notes, and so on. So what do? What do you need? We definitely want to digitize this data, right? But overall, holistically, what we really need is a data ecosystem of sorts, a platform which allows us to collect, ingest variety of different formats of data into a central place, kind of a data aggregator on which we can then think about, okay, hey, I have all of this data together, now what do I do? How do I unlock workflows that I was not able to do earlier because of the very nature of a client-server application or an on-prem application, and that was it, right? I mean, there was no communication between different apps, different use cases and so on, and thereby preventing us from unlocking the true potential of what we could discover. Again, a lot of this data is available, but the second step is curation, right? How do you QC this data? How do you establish relationships between different pieces of this data? How do you track lineage? How do you basically say that what has been the evolution of this data, right? And then how do you discover this data so that it's ready to use in the data products? Discovery meaning, how do I search this data, right? So we have now a lot of NLP-based use cases which help any persona, be it a data manager or a petroleum engineer or geophysicist, to go ahead and just type English-like query into what we have built as base systems or data ecosystem, and then get all the data that they need ready for consumption, which means that they should be able to compare different data sets. They should be able to do a quick screening, filtering, and analysis, and basically be able to say, okay, hey, this is what I'm doing with this data. And then be able to consume a lot of this data, which is now trusted, a single version of truth, directly into their cloud apps. Before I even go ahead, on the left-hand side, what you see is basically the need of an open, scalable application in which we can really easily plug in our data science and ML models, which also provides computing power at scale via elastic computing and in a secure cloud environment, right? We all talk about data, but we are very protective about it as well, right? I mean, there are a lot of levers. If today I have to deploy a multi-tenant system in which basically I ask two companies to host apps, they would probably say no, and I think that answer would be no for decades, right? So how do you really build a client's trust about their particular data by providing them a very secure, isolated environment in which nobody can play around? The answer to a lot of these questions, at least in SLB, is an enterprise data solution that we have been building for now almost 5 to 6 years. There are a lot of clients that are engaged, multiple clients, in fact, that are engaged with us on this journey. We are so far enough that a lot of contribution from an open source perspective to the open subsurface data universe was done by SLB. Then, it started gaining a lot of momentum and so on. But down there, what you see is that energy data foundation that we have built. It provides a lot of ingestion services, a lot of quality management services, curation services, and then we are building an enriched services layer in which you can do spatial visualization, GIS maps, you can look at log viewers, different viewers you can go ahead and plug in. You can also plug in a lot of your AI ML models, and we are using Data IQ for that integration. We also have something called as data management agents, which basically are small apps, again built fit to purpose, to get a lot of your data from an on-premise environment into the cloud environment, right? I mean, that's a part of transition services and managed services. We basically want to enable the journey of any persona, again, be it a data manager, petroleum engineer, to find data and consume it easy, right? So the entire process of ingestion, curation, search, browse, visualize, be able to consume your data is really made easier via the enterprise data solution. The ambition is, how do you take that data, you convert it into insights, how do you convert your insights, your actionable insights, into decisions, right? I think the industry has really stopped here, where there are a lot of insights generated and a lot of decisions that need to be made, but we still are referring to cheat sheets when it comes to operations. We have like a list of things that we really need to do, and we say, okay, fine, the system has generated this. The next step that we really want to get to is translating those decisions into actions, right? I'm showing here, for example, what could a production solution environment look like. Down here, you'll see that we are using Cognite Data Fusion. It's really the technology of choice that we are using to overcome operational data challenge issues. It's a part of our enterprise data solution offering. It basically boils down to two things here on this slide: intelligent field and intelligent enterprise. Intelligent field is all about how do I digitize my field operations, reduce human intervention, and improve machine performance, right? How do I do that? I do connect, I do digitize all of my equipments. I liberate the data that is being trapped within the equipments, and then that paves the way for autonomous remote operations. And then on the intelligent enterprise side, what we are saying is we ensure that via intelligent operations, we go ahead and have an equipment uptime for quite a long time, and then we also still assure the flow assurance, right? Together, all of this between intelligent field and intelligent enterprise gives way for overall intelligent operations, right? There are many more use cases that we can actually use by true liberation of data, by ensuring that quality data is generated and consumed. Some of the examples are listed here. A lot of these are what we are working on, be it automated selection for work over candidates, automated log QC and interpretation, ML-driven subsurface characterization and interpretation models, digital twin for integrated well planning, field development plans, drill planning, drill ops. A lot of these use cases are in very fast momentum. Remember one thing, it's very easy to sort of get bought into the digital transformation story, but digital transformation is not about technology, it is not about data. Digital transformation is about providing business acceleration by exploiting technology and data. The primary use case should be a business-enabled workflow that you really want to consume and build. Lastly, 5 levers that I feel that would enable digital transformation in any company. Providing a data ecosystem which is secure, which gives way to breaking data silos, which is accessible, scalable, provides cognitive search via AI/ML, does continuous learning from that search and gives you an evergreen system all the time, digitizes unstructured data and so on. On the technology side, I feel cloud computing, definitely we are working with leading cloud platform providers like Google, Amazon, Azure, and so on, and then in-country cloud providers where public cloud is really not accepted. But cloud computing allows us to use flexible infrastructure and helps us scale when it comes to storing data and so on. We have analytics at play. We have spoken enough about analytics today, but again, working with TIPCO, Spotfire, but the point is about providing a lot of insights that are generated by analytics. AI and ML for autonomous remote operations, ML for detecting especially specific data patterns that again you could learn from and derive use cases out of. We have a lot of working on IoT, which provides data from our sensors to our edge cases and then fueling again it back to the data ecosystem. A lot of use case, especially around training and safety for augmented reality and virtual reality. A lot of work, again, from a robotic standpoint, especially when it comes to areas where humans probably cannot access or it is too dangerous for humans. And then blockchain use cases for supply chain management, as well as providing transparency in how data is stored and shared, right? A lot of business models that have come to play. It's no longer the classic client server, or I ship it on a DVD and send it to you and you go ahead and use it. It's more about a subscription-based business model, a SaaS model, consumption-based models as well, where we are talking about as a user, how do I charge you based on what data you're consuming. Marketplace kind of concept, which enables you to buy and share, buy and sell data as well. A lot of products that would require real-time data. Managed services, and then lift and shift as well. A lot of our customers are still shy of adopting cloud entirely. So lift and shift of petrotechnical applications like classic Techlog and Petrel really provides them the ability to use speed and scale, but still be tied to a classic products. A lot of working models have changed as well. If I even talk about software development, our focus on being customer-centric or having a customer-centric development has increased many-fold. We now go ahead and do a lot of UX research about who the persona is, what the journey is going to look like throughout the system, what is it that they are going to use. Having a DevSecOps-enabled journey, which primarily is no longer just focusing on development, it's primarily focusing on development through operations, emphasizing on security as well. A lot of co-development with our customers, open sourcing that I spoke about earlier, and then a lot of build versus buy or having strategic partnerships that we keep working on a day-to-day basis. Everybody has touched quite a lot on talent. I think a lot of people that were thinking of retiring during COVID time, thinking of retiring before the COVID era, finally took the plunge and retired during COVID. So we have seen a lot of talent loss, especially when it comes to the subject matter expertise place. We definitely are looking to ramp up that. We have taken tremendous effort to upskill the organization as well, from older technologies to newer ones. We continue to grow a lot of niche skill sets like cybersecurity, site reliability engineering, heavy emphasis on UX, data science, and so on. And a lot of youngsters these days, before they join an oil and gas company or anything to do with oil and gas, are very specific about what kind of environmental impact that they would be contributing to. So how do you make the industry attractive to them? what are net zero ambitions, a lot of work that's being done on carbon management and so on. And again, digital plays a large part to that. I'll probably not take a lot of time, but I'll just say that we also have a concept called as Innovation Factory. Not everything works for everybody. You might be looking at just assembling the building blocks out of the solutions that we already have, or filling in the gaps, or creating a new solution. Innovation Factory is one aspect of SLB that provides you to go ahead and do so. Again, the duration of the projects could be large or small. It all depends on creating a hypothesis, testing out that hypothesis, and then basically saying, okay, hey, you know, can this be enterprise ready? Do I need to change it? Do I need to experiment a bit more, and so on? A brief map about where exactly the innovation factories are located. We are also wanting to create some of this in India as well, in Gurgaon especially. Apart from the innovation factory, this is my last slide, so I'll go and you'll stop hearing me talking. Apart from the innovation factory, we actually have a very heavy technology presence in India. A lot of people are not aware about that because we do not publicize that much. But in Pune, for example, we have 3 centers. One which is focusing primarily on enterprise product development for our customers, be it Chevron, Woodside, Aker, BP, and so on, a lot of large customers. We also have a center that focuses primarily on rig modeling, design, and simulation. And then we have another center that leads the internal IT digital transformation for Schlumberger, right? Between all of this, and then we have Cameron situated in Coimbatore. Between all of this, we have almost 5,000 employees in India that really work towards the entire digital transformation journey. Yeah. So that's about it. Thank you so much for listening.